So why does moral relativism ultimately fail? Well, the easy answer is because moral relativism as a view of morality is self-defeating. That means that once you state what the view is, it actually falls back on top of itself and defeats itself. Moral relativism is basically the view that there are no objective moral standards that we are all beholden to, that we all have to follow. That there's no standard of good that is beyond human beings that would help guide our moral thinking so that we could all understand what might be morally true or false for everyone. Moral relativism says that rather than that being the case, morality is just up to the individual to decide for him or herself, or up to the individual culture to decide for itself what might be good or what might be bad or right or wrong. And the problem with moral relativism is that it's essentially saying that it is wrong for you to believe that there's any such real right or wrong that everyone is beholden to. It is wrong for you to believe that morality is real. So the moment that somebody starts talking about moral relativism, they may say something about this and challenge you on your moral views. They might say, you shouldn't tell other people what is right and wrong for them. And you have to pay attention to that because as soon as they've said that, they've mentioned the word should. Well, shoulds and oughts deal with moral claims. So what they're telling you is it's morally wrong for you to tell someone else that morality can be right or wrong or real in any certain way. Examples that I talked about a little bit ago dealt with individuals that define morality for themselves or cultures that define morality for itself. The problem with that and the way that we see the world as it is right now is that if that were true, let's take the cultural example, that means that there's no such thing as an immoral culture, an immoral society. Some societies choose to practice slavery. Some societies choose to practice genocide, which is where they kill whole groups of human beings for reasons that don't matter as much as they ought to. When that happens, if moral relativism is true, that means that we can't call those societies immoral. After all, they're just doing what they decided was right or wrong for themselves. And there's no such thing as our society being any better, because if moral relativism is true, there's no such thing as better. After all, there's not that standard that would tell us what could be good or bad or which direction might be better than any other direction. When it comes to the individual, the reality is very similar. If moral relativism is true, that means there's no individual who's any more moral than any other individual. In other words, there's no such thing as an immoral individual. There are just individuals deciding what is right and wrong for themselves. Mother Teresa liked to feed people who were outcasts. Hitler liked to kill people who were outcasts. But who are we to say that Hitler was worse than Mother Teresa in any real way if moral relativism is true? We can't say that. We don't have a standard by which we can go. What Christianity tells us is that right and wrong are real and that we can know them and that there is a standard and that it is transcendent or beyond human beings. God is that standard. So in fact, the next time that someone tells you you shouldn't push your moral views on others, you should stop and ask them, why not? The fact of the matter is, as I said earlier, anytime someone is talking in shoulds or oughts, they are making moral claims. So that person is guilty of doing the very thing that they're accusing you of doing. Moral relativism is self-defeating.